Hello and welcome to another episode of the Legacy Leadership Show with Adrian Chenault and Tom Chenault. It's Adrian here, and this is 2 weeks in a row of being in separate locations, which I don't love, but you are in a far more stable location this week, Father, so that's good. Welcome back from Aruba.
Oh, I forgot about that. We did it from the cruise ship last week.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a complete
crazy
cluster. Yeah, I forgot about that. But BK Barreco, I loved him before, but that guy was a trooper. And he just kept talking. He goes, Tom, you got the greatest background in the world. Are you an idiot? Move the camera out to where the water is. And I go, oh, that's a good idea. So yeah, I'm an idiot and I'm not good at this, but you know, we've done okay over the years. So Adrian, we got a good show, don't we?
We really, really do. I'm so looking forward to our guest today. Dr. Bob Rakowski is a major achiever in the network marketing profession and a major achiever in lots of other areas of health and wellness before that as well. And somebody who I have recently gotten to know through some mutual friends and then connected over at GoPro with Eric Worre. And this guy is the real deal. So Dr. Bob, welcome to the show.
Well, what a great intro, and thank you for that. I mean, coming from two real deals, I'll absolutely take it. So thank you. I'm excited.
Being around you, I mean, everywhere I go that I'm around you, I'm blown away. And, you know, you were in that VIP room with Eric Worre at GoPro a few weeks ago, and, you know, you are such a legend. People are chasing you all over the place. You're so fit. You're so handsome. You've made a fortune being a chiropractor, a genius, and a copy rep. I mean, there is nothing bad about you. And you've got this vibe that is so kind and so genuine that you just attract people like nobody I've ever seen before. And I just want to thank you for that because you were so nice to me and obviously nice to Adrian. He deserved it, but you helped me walk across the street and you laid my overcoat down on the ground across that puddle. You were just being so kind to us old people. So thank you.
You know, Tom, I've got to tell you, one, it takes one to know one. And as I mentioned right away, you're absolutely one of my favorites. I love your philosophy. I love your coffee shop interview. I love the way you connect. I love the way that you put relationships first. And there's no doubt why you succeed at what you do. You're just awesome at connecting with people, and great job with Adrian too. You know, they often say you can't fake your kids. So when you have a great kid like that, you've done a lot of things right. Well done.
It works. It certainly works. So yeah, Adrian, what do we want to talk about, buddy?
Well, speaking of you can't fake your kids. I think that might be a really good place to start because I actually had an opportunity to meet Dr. Bob's son, Jacob, before I met him. And I know, Dr. Bob, that he's a really big, important part of your personal journey, obviously in life and in network marketing. And so why don't we start there? How does Jacob fit into this whole picture?
Well, certainly no Jacob, no me in this conversation right here, right now. But I'm even going to turn my clock way back because, you know, it depends on who hears this. There could be a lesson in this, but, you know, when I was 18 years old, and my gosh, that's now 41 years ago. So time is flying. You know, I was a good door-to-door salesman, and I was good because I was hungry. And you know, Tom and I have that in common. I think he was probably a much better salesman selling bigger ticket items, but I knocked on a door one time, big smile, good presentation, lots of energy. And this woman just stopped and she said, hang on, you would be awesome in my business. And I said, what's your business? Brilliant segue. She said, you know, I'm partnered with multiple multimillionaires. They're teaching me to become independently wealthy. And in fact, they'll be over here tomorrow night at 7:30. If you want to meet my mentors, dress sharp, come on over, bring a notepad. So, you know, I show up and then I get the Amway presentation and it was very well done. And you know what? I said, okay, this makes perfect sense. I'm in. Well, I go home and there's my brother-in-law who was a genius and a chess champion and a big 8 firm accountant. And I told him what I just saw. And he said, Bob, trust me, you don't want to do that. And I said, why not? He says, it's Amway. I still have a garage full of soap. Trust me, you don't want to do it. So fast forward, you know, long after that, I had been prospected many, many times by amateurs, as Eric Worre would call them, or even posers, he might call them. And it was so poorly done that I finally put a sign on my clinic door that said network marketers not welcome.
Wow.
Okay. So that was a bridge to cross. So Jacob comes home 11 years ago, and he was very excited about a network marketing company that he had joined with, fresh, organic, turbocharged coffee. And he said, Dad, this is the best thing. I want you to be part of this business. And I said, thanks, but no thanks, and as I mentioned in our little conversation before, he kept after me. I promise you, my best guesstimate is I told him no 700 times, twice a day for a year. And then finally, he dragged me to an event, and there was all the social proof that I needed. People having wonderful changes in their health, their wealth, their community, their outlook on life. And I thought, you know what, if I'm serious about helping people, I can adopt the people and try to do everything I can to help them, or I can give them a bridge to partner with me, as you have done with God knows how many tens of thousands, to lead them with better products, better technology, and in your case, and ours too, a better strategy that puts people first. So where's Jacob in this? Front and center. No Jacob, no me here and now. And our team is global and impacting more people than I ever could have even dreamed of by myself.
Wow. And just putting myself in his shoes a little bit, you've got this dad who's, obviously independently extremely successful in what you were doing before this. And he sees something he gets excited about, but it must have really taken some courage, to knock on what appeared to be a slammed and, triple bolted door to even have the conversation. And so I'm curious if you can kind of take yourself back into that moment a little bit. What was it the fact that it was your son and that kind of, softened your stance? Like what was that first kind of crack in that armor you had set up for yourself?
Well, the first crack was in seeing that it was an organic and infused coffee with the top superfood, right? So I love coffee. Two, I love organic. I'm promoting everything healthy. And then, if I can mention the name reishi is what's in it. Consensus top superfood on the planet. So at least having a good product broke my armor a little bit, right? That was an entry in. I started drinking it, started enjoying it. But again, I told him, great, I'll be a customer. If I don't need to do anything in the clinic, which I was totally against doing anything in my clinic. I said, if I don't need to do anything, if you can share it with staff and they share it with patients, that's fine. But take this to the bank. I will never do the business. So how's that go? Never say never, right? So
famous last words always, right?
Yeah. So here's the thing that everybody gets wrong. They think that because you're a doctor or chiropractor, you were this athlete, you had all these accolades in your life, that those are an advantage for you. They're a hindrance. They're a hindrance because the average Joe like me looks at a guy like him and says, I can't do that. And so duplicating yourself at the lowest common denominator is the key to this business. Because if people think they have to be, an Olympian, if they have to be a doctor, if they have to be anything other than great human beings, I swear to you, this is true. I have been a fan of Bob for a long time, a fan of him as a human being. Until we got ready for this show, I did not know there was a doctor involved in that conversation. I did not know that there was an athlete involved with that conversation. I just knew he was one hell of a nice guy that made me feel good. And I wanted him on this show. I wanted him to be part of my life. That's the key to network marketing. Because I'm telling you what, the higher you have all that other stuff, degrees and everything else, the more it slows you down. Because you got to fire your brain and hire your heart. And you can tell from the bottom of this guy's soul, with the education he's got, with the physique he's got access to products that will make you fly. But he's so fervent about this coffee and this profession, he doesn't need all that. He'll let the tools do the work, and he just sells you his heart and his fervor. And that's what the name of the game is, right, Bob?
I don't think anybody says it better than you. No connection, you're not moving forward. It's just that simple. And I did a little bit of statistic gathering before we got on here. And, of all the sales that we've done, tens of millions, more than 94% has been reorders. And the reason for that is pretty simple. We connect with people. We make sure that there's a match with the product and what they want to do, right? We're not going to try to sell someone they don't need. We can go back to that phrase, selling ices to Eskimos. If people can do that, that's fine. They get one sale and then they're never invited back. But when we sell people or really get them to buy what they need, and then even buy into the business model because it's a perfect match for where they want to go with support, with love, with community, and things that make the world better, that's how you build a successful business. It's been your formula since I've known you, and I trust long before that as well.
Works like a charm. Adrian, I think he's got an affiliate program at Discount Tire or something. So the Tesla needs tires the other day, and I tell Adrian to take me to Lowe's or whatever the hell the place is, because I love the guy. We're in the parking lot at Discount Tire. And I go, Adrian, I want to go to the other place. Oh, this is cheaper. I don't give a rat's. I like the guy. I can probably buy the tires on the internet cheaper. I like the guy. That's why I'm buying the tires from that guy and not the other places. I like the guy. And that's the same thing with you, Bob, and every one of you. Just remember this. Take your authentic self to the game. Because nobody reads yesterday's newspaper. I'm 72 years old. Nobody's looked at my report card for over 50 years. And you're doing the right math, even farther than that back, 52 years, because I basically stopped showing report cards about 17 years old. So it's a mess. Nobody cares how smart you are. They care how nice you are. Right, Bob?
Well, we go back to that triad. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. You have that advantage of being instantly likable, with that great energy, that great smile. How can I make your world better? Now, knowing you takes a little more time, trust a little more yet, but we've been successful at getting that done. And we can fast track it depending upon needs and how we step up, which we're all committed to doing.
That is so.
Have we got much time, Adrian?
20 seconds.
Okay. I am so lucky. God is so great. I lost all this weight, so my resting face has my face go down to here. So I have to consciously smile or I look like I'm going to die. We'll be back right after this. It is the Legacy Leadership Show. How great's that?
That's so perfect. Oh my goodness. I love it. We got a bunch of our buddies in the audience here. Hello, Leanne Lyon. I'm so glad you're here. Ron Henley in the house. He's awesome. Anand in the middle of the night tunes in every week from Mumbai, India. That is so great. Chad Williams, we love you, buddy. And it's always so fun to have folks show up and show out. So make sure you say hello in the comments so we can greet you, and hit that share button too. We're coming back in 3 seconds. And we're back. Welcome back to the Legacy Leadership Radio Show with Adrian and Tom Chenault. We are here with Dr. Bob Rakowski, and we just had shout outs from Jordan Adler, from Dan McCormick. Holy moly, Joe D'Arcangelo's in the house. Paul Vandeven is here, have no fear. And this is a ton of fun and a great conversation already. We were talking before the break about this importance of know, like, and trust. And I love, thank you for doing that homework. Dr. Bob shared before the break that 94% of the tens of millions of dollars in volume that his organization has done over the years, that 94% of that business has come from reorders. And it doesn't, whether we're talking about network marketing, whether we're talking about a small brick and mortar business, whether we're talking about software as a service, no matter what it is that we're talking about, it is so much better, so much less expensive, so much better business strategy to find a customer and then keep that customer really happy and have them have a product that they love, that they order over and over again. And it's a million times more expensive. And it's the death of a lot of businesses to churn and burn customers because it's so hard to get that new customer. If you don't keep them, you're going to have a really hard time. And so, Dr. Bob, obviously you have a great product that makes things really, really easy and helps a ton. But what are some things that you have learned over the years? Maybe even some of the things that you've learned from running your chiropractic practice or other health modalities that you're involved in that you think has been important to helping you have such a high reorder rate? Because that's really remarkable.
Well, I'm going to go to a pivotal point in my life, and it's fascinating. You gave a shout out to Leanne Lyons. I'm going to give her a shout out too. She and I were actually training martial arts on a cruise ship in the same room at one time.
Wow.
And she's a beastie black belt, an amazing lady, and I love her, and what a wonderful lady. But I was training with the grandmaster in mixed martial arts, and not only was he interested in teaching me self-defense and how to control my body and other things like that, but he was a big fan of teaching about life. And he said, Bob, I want you to define success using 3 and only 3 words. Now, I had given this plenty of thought throughout my life. And I said, health, happiness, prosperity. And he looked at me and says, well, that's a good triad. He says, would you like to know what my grandmasters taught me? Well, now I'm real eager because I want to hear, right? What do the grandmasters teach? And he says, put this in your memory bank forever. Success is relationships, relationships, and relationships. Yeah. And I stepped back for a moment, and it hit me like the strongest left hook you could ever have to just jar your consciousness and say, that's it. That is the key to life right there. Now, he articulated it so beautifully in that moment, but that wasn't the first time that I was told to prioritize relationships. I'm so blessed to have been brought up in a loving home. My parents are married 63 years. They're still best friends. And they taught the golden rule. They lived the golden rule. And here's what I can tell you. As long as we continue to treat others like we want to be treated in every venue, whether I just want to give someone a smile or give them some encouragement or whatever it is, as long as I'm treating others like I want to be treated, my life is golden. And then now we try to share that with others and say, use this as your driving philosophy moving forward, and we'll see where that goes. So, you can only do so much by yourself. And here's one of those magic quotes too. If your goals are can be achieved by yourself, they're not very big. But when you can build an unlimited team, tens of thousands on the way to hundreds of thousands, how much impact can you have? Especially when people treat others like they want to be treated, we can change the world.
Man, that is so brilliant. And I think sometimes, you wouldn't expect a grandmaster in martial arts to be the one to give you that lesson. And I think that's one of those moments where it maybe the message kind of breaks through because it's coming from an unlikely source, or it's coming from a place where you weren't necessarily, it wasn't packaged in the way that you might have thought it would be. And yet it is so true. And it's amazing, you look in the realms of, very high performance athletics, you look in the realms of martial arts, you look in the realms of business and even in arenas that might be considered, cutthroat and network marketing, top leadership is one of those, right? That was a profound lesson for me to get to learn through your eyes, Dad, as you started to, move into these upper echelons of people. And instead of it being everybody sniping at each other, it couldn't have been further from that, right?
Yeah, there's just no competition at the top. It's all collaboration. We don't need to do that. And you're the same way. And the name of the game is build that. So we're going to go to a break, aren't we, Adrian?
Yeah, we got 30 seconds here.
Yeah. So we're on the Genesis Communication Network, and this guy named Ted Anderson he's been our greatest ally for over a decade, and just had us on the air on 500 radio stations for free all that time. And I love the guy. So make sure that if you ever get a chance, tell him that. And we'll be back right after this with Adrian Chenault and Dr. Bob on the Legacy Leadership Radio Show.
Good job. Nailed it.
How about we should have had Dinosaur Day and had Ray Lordeman on here for God's sake.
I saw Ray tag in.
Oh my God, we love him. He only lives about 15 minutes from here, and he'll never come and visit me. It's unbelievable.
Oh, we got to get him there. Ray is, I love Ray, his wife, Mary, beautiful, wonderful humans, heart-centered, doing everything you teach. I don't know if you started network marketing before Ray did, but he's definitely a bird of a feather with you and me.
All right.
Amen. All right, hold on. We're coming back. And we're back. Welcome back to the Legacy Leadership Radio Show with Adrian Chenault and Tom Chenault. We are talking to Dr. Bob Rakowski. And if you want, this guy is just incredible. You're going to want to do this right now. We'll share it again later in this segment. But make sure, go check out the Dr. Bob, the drbob.com. And just go check out what he's about. Go check out, you can feel his energy. You can feel how much he authentically desires to help people to grow and to be better and to be, to create the kind of life that they want to create. And so make sure you go and check him out. And Ray Lordeman, we're so glad you're here. His daughter Tara is watching with us too. I texted all my buddies, all our mutual friends, and they're all just over the top excited that you're here with us today, Dr. Bob. So that is a ton of fun. And, I feel like we're talking about something really powerful and important that I want to continue to kind of dig on. So you shared about having, this experience on this cruise ship. You're training with this martial arts grandmaster. He shares with you this lesson that the three most important words in business and in life are relationship, relationship, and relationship. And that sort of broke through for you. And how did you see things change in your life and in your business as you really kind of centered in on that to an even greater degree?
Well, everything improves when the quality of your relationships improve. And I might suggest, we want to have a relationship with ourselves. We want to have a relationship with our creator. We want to have a relationship with those around us. And then we want to have that relationship with the entire world, where every time we show up, we strive to add value, leave people with a feeling of increase, honor them where they are, help them get where they want to go. And sometimes what we do is they don't even know where they want to go. We just say, are you happy where you are? Let me show you a path and a way to get there. And by the way, we got a great community. And if you want to join our community, and that's really what we sell, right? We sell the relationships, the community, and people that do that well, they're going to succeed. And when people buy in and they get it, well, then it's just on their growth curve as their success improves.
People are drowning out there. They are scared to death. You're looking at all the .com companies and all these big tech companies, and they're laying off people right and left. And these people that thought that they would never need a plan B, residual income, their ears are finally open to what we've got to offer. And then we've got a lot of us running around. And I said this on a call this morning, and I made them write it down. Nobody ever did, because nobody really listens to me. But here's the deal. Your volume and your income are probably directly proportional to your attitude. And when you start thinking about the way that you're showing up for the organization that you've got right now, it's why you're losing money right and left. You can't buy the news. You've got to be that person making a stand, whether it's coffee, whether it's the profession, whether it's the business model, or whatever it is. You are the missing link. And your attitude is what's going to have those people look you in the eye and say, you know what? I am scared to death. I don't have anybody to talk to, and I need help. And it happened to me a couple of days ago. Somebody that I thought had a ton of dough. He had to tell his daughter he had no money, he had no food, and he had no gas. And there was going to be no Christmas. It broke my heart. I did not know he was in that kind of jackpot. He had the courage to tell me. And you know what? I can help him. That's what's so beautiful. I am not scared to say you need to give up on that ladder you're trying to climb because it's leaned against the wrong wall. You've been up so many times to almost the top. Forget that thing. Come down to the bottom with us morons, and let's climb up this thing together. I'll stand behind you and push you up. That's who you are, right, Bob?
Well, absolutely. And we've been blessed to have very, very similar mentors along the way. You meet people where they are. You've got to offer a helping hand. If you're not helping someone, what good are you today? And when you describe a case, one of your superpowers, and I was listening to your Eric Worre, Excellence podcast, He said, have you always been talented at finding misfit toys? And you kind of chuckled. Aren't we all misfits in our own way?
Yeah.
But the only time we ever see it really is when people are struggling like that. So, and there may be the highest number ever in our history of people struggling right now. So we're in the right place, in the right time, with the right strategy, the right systems. The question is, does this resonate with you? Is this something you want to do? And if you do, let's do it together is the bottom line. I speak for all of us on that. We all are committed to making the world better.
Yeah. You go to college and you spend all that money to learn. You get network marketing, they pay you to learn. And it can go slow, it can go fast, but it will go. And you may just go broke because you didn't want to learn. But I'll tell you one thing right now, at least you got a fighting chance. And all of you, go to thedrbob.com, take a look at what he's got going. And these people are unbelievable human beings that live their life to help because they've hit that tipping point where it's not about the money, it's about the service. And he talked about his philosophy. And Adrian's philosophy is very, very much similar. He believes that every human being that he ever meets in his life, his commitment is they leave him feeling better about their life than they did when they got there. Who could possibly want anything else? So it's beautiful, right, Adrian?
Yeah, it totally is. And, I just was thinking about, these misfit toys and I think you're exactly right. I think the secret is that everybody walks around thinking they're a misfit and that nobody else is. And the truth is that everybody feels that way. And, being that kind of person that is the person who's safe, the person who's interested, the person who's going to listen, and the person who actually might be able to help with a solution or with an idea when that happens, that's what you want to be. And there's not enough of those out there. And there's a lot of people and I was thinking about this the other day, right? The holidays, right? Somebody sent me an email, needing something build them a day early and it caused a big problem for them because they thought the bill was coming tomorrow and it came today. And there's a lot of things like that, right? Where people are they're kind of hanging on by a thread and they're scared and they don't know who to talk to. They don't know who's going to be able to help them. And if you can be that person who is safe, if you can be that person who is actually interested and who isn't going to make you look bad, who isn't going to make you feel like it's all your fault or that you're all alone or whatever that is, and it's going to help be that person who's a safe harbor in a storm, that is an incredibly valuable way to be. And we all have the ability to be that way because it's not your job. It's not your job to bail them out. It's not your job to give them a handout. It's not your job to do any of those things other than love them and, kind of hold the space for them and listen and then see if you can be helpful if you can, and to be honest, if you can't. And any one of us can do that. It's just a matter of it's a duty of care. That's all it really comes down to. And we all have the power to do it, but not many of us take up the mantle, do they, Dr. Bob?
Well, I love how you said that. And when you talk about either being able to help them, when you look at the network that we have, I promise you, between the three of us, whatever problem someone has, we know someone who knows someone that has a really good solution for them. So that's the beauty of being connected to so many people. And by the way, a huge shout out to you guys as well for learning what's going on with the person that's there, making that connection, finding out what do you really need, and then creating a bridge to that. And, perfect example for how to build, how to grow, how to make the world better.
I can tell when somebody hasn't done their homework on me when they invite me to a party. I'd rather get shot than go to a party. Eric Worre, when I go to his house, he walks across the room and says, I think I'm going to say goodbye right now because I know you're going to sneak out the door. And at that party you were at with his house, I was there for 20 minutes because I'm bad at parties, man. I'm uncomfortable. There's alcohol. Everything just absolutely collapses in my brain. And anybody that does their due diligence on me knows that. And it helps me when you don't invite me because I go by obligation. I don't want to. I like you, but I don't like the parties. And just do your homework on people. That's all you need to do. And as I think about you, Bob, and the training and the money that you're spending with Eric and everything else that you do, the time that you spend to become a student of this profession, as accomplished as you are, tell everybody why the hell you do that, because they can't hear it from me anymore because I just scream so loud they can't hear me. It's so damn important, everybody. Please listen to him right now.
You know, I'm going to go back to the epiphany, the realization that really drove me to build. And that is very, very simply, how many people can you help by yourself with whatever your skill set is? And you know what? I had weeks where I worked 60, 80, 100 hours, and I didn't help 1/100th the number of people that I help every single day by building a team committed to the same goal. You know, improving health, happiness, and success by understanding that relationships always come first. And you're a big fan of love, and I am as well. And I like to quote Og Mandino, and I'll get a little long on this from his greatest salesman in the world, because it just rolls off so nice. But he said, you know, I will greet this day with love in my heart, for love is the greatest secret of success in all ventures. Muscle can split a shield and even destroy life, but only the unseen power of love can open the hearts of men. And until I master this art, I will remain no more than a peddler in the marketplace. And he goes on to say, I will love the sun and the stars and the moon and the earth and everybody on it. But here's the line that really gets my attention. And most of all, I will love myself, for when I do, I will zealously inspect all things that I allow to enter my mind, my heart, my soul, and my body. You know, and I can be in front of a group of, probably the largest group ever that I did that in front of was probably 10,000 people. And in unison, I had them say, repeat this. And most of all, I will love myself, for when I do, you know, and start zealously inspecting everything. And once you start doing that, the whole world opens up to you. Protect that beautiful body, mind, and spirit. Surround yourself with all good people and all good things. And there's only one way to go, and that's up. So now we get a community. And, you know, big shout out to you for making it so much easier. You don't need to have talent. You don't need to have a good social media following. If you can harness AI like you have taught the world to do, then I promise you, someone who's very, very shy with no connections can use the intelligence of the universe to share good content, start good conversations, and start adding value to people.
That is so hysterical. That's the truth. Adrian, do we have to go to a break?
We got about 30 seconds, but I'll tell you what, I was just messaging, I was hitting in the comments. I hope Dan McCormick's still watching.
I know it. I was just going to say the same thing.
Yeah, he runs the Greatest Salesman in the World podcast for the Og Mandino family.
How beautiful.
And just an incredible guy in the network.
He needs to interview you.
Yes.
Oh, Amen. I'll tell you what, Og Mandino, one of those life changers.
Hold on, we got to go to a quick break, and we'll come back and talk about Og on the other side. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this on the Genesis Communication Network.
Can you believe Ray Lordeman has not commented on this coffee? He gives me this coffee, so I decided to drink it on the air just to have him impressed. I am about ready to. It was this full. I have drank so much coffee waiting for him to say something like, "Good job, Tom." Okay, Adrian, go ahead.
Now he knows.
And we're back. Final segment on the Legacy Leadership Radio Show with Adrian Chenault and Tom Chenault. We're having an awesome conversation with Dr. Bob Rakowski. We're giving our buddy Ray Lordeman a tough time, which he always deserves. And there he is. There's Tara. She's paying attention. And man, what a great conversation it's been. And we were talking about Og Mandino and the greatest salesman in the world just before the break. And you know, that book is profound. And I know so many successful people who it has just gotten inside of them in a way that's deep and profound. And it sounds like you're one of those, Dr. Bob.
You know, my early years, I had a super VIP patient, consultant to presidents. I can even give his name, Chuck Janess. I mean, bank president, influencer, you know, sent his limo to pick up me and my in-laws who happened to be in town, give us center ice tickets to a hockey game, and then to his, you know, penthouse afterwards. And on his coffee table was the greatest salesman in the world. And I looked at him and I asked, is that a good book? He laughed. He said, no, it's not a good book. It's a great book. He says, I recommend everybody read it. Follow the instructions. You know, this book will change your life is what he told me. And I said, awesome. And he gifted me that copy right off of his coffee table. And I started right then and there. And when I got to the scrolls, I did exactly what they said. I read morning, noon, and night, 30 straight days, each scroll, 10 scrolls. You know, you're looking at 300 straight days of reading. But, you know, just as those wonderful words flow off my lips, they're in my heart, they're in my soul, they're in my being. And, you know, listen, love is the greatest force in the history of the universe. It'll never be beat. And if we can show up as our loving best self, loving everyone, and especially ourselves, we're going to be in good shape.
That's so well said. And Dr. Bob, I don't know if you've read if you've read it or even better, listened to it, but you know that the book Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey
It'll be next on my book. On my list.
It's really it's a great book. It is profound in you just don't, you know, I love McConaughey, but you just don't think it's going to be exactly like something that you're going to stick with. And it is a great book. It's so much fun. But he talks about that book changed his life, and he encountered it in even more of a kind of, you know, that book found him rather than he found it in a huge way. And it's just, you know, isn't it amazing how, whether it's the right mentor, whether it's the right friend, whether, you know, whatever it is, that somehow we just have this way of the right thing kind of showing up in our life at the right time. And I think, you know, whether it's a book, I think we, you know, those books that change our life like that, we experience them in a kind of a relational way, even if it's not a human being, because I think that's how we're wired, right? It's this relationship that changes things, and that can make all the difference.
You know, so many things that you said about that. Whatever we need is always going to show up. And sometimes it's when we're on a downward spiral, it just gets our attention. You know, all of life's lessons aren't pleasant. In fact, even Ben Franklin said that which hurts instructs. You know, so if someone's in a little rough circumstance, there's plenty of people that like to call it the gift of desperation. This might be the conversation that you need to hear to get some type of paradigm shift to move yourself forward. And let's talk about paradigms for just a moment, because so many people need that. But Stephen Covey said this. He said, if you want small changes, change your behavior. If you want massive improvement, change your paradigm. And, you know, the paradigm shift with network marketing has been a game changer for me and my entire family and tens of thousands all over the world. You know, it just gives us such an opportunity to add value.
One thing we know, he knew deep down in his heart, he could do anything. He became an athlete, did the martial arts, became a doctor of chiropractic. So he had this unstoppableness to him. And what I want you guys to think about is that anything that you ever went to in your life where you just did it, you won the 50-yard dash in the 4th grade, I don't care what it was, go back there and replicate that success through your life. And I had to look back a long way when I first got sober to catch myself winning at something. And I finally did it. And I finally found a point where I had won. And all I did was say, what did I do to get that? And I realized what I did was I worked my fingers to the bone while everybody else was sleeping. And I did it. And that's what I did in network marketing. And it changed everything. And I finally fell in love with Tom Chenault instead of trying to be Bob or Adrian or Eric Worre or Sperry. I wanted to speak about Sperry because the Excellence Project, Eric just launched his interview with Sperry, which was unbelievable.
Oh, cool.
Listen to that, everybody. But I am telling you, you don't have to be like anybody else. You have got to go find your best you and use that. Right, Bob?
Oh, well, let's go back to that metaphor of misfit toys, because I promise you, the people that have really, really crushed it, they didn't start out on top of the world. They usually started out with that gift of desperation, whatever it was. And so, you know, Art Williams will tell you, you don't have to be totally broken to succeed in this, but I'll tell you what, it gives you an advantage.
That's right on. And there have just been so many great lessons and so many great conversations on this show today. And Dr. Bob, it has gone way too fast. I want to say a huge thank you to you for just your energy and your spirit of contribution. I think everyone here can feel that. And so thank you to you. Thank you for your son, Jacob, for introducing you and opening the door. Thanks to Leanne Lyon and Ray Lordeman for helping to make this connection happen. And it's just been a great conversation. And I'm super, super grateful to you. Thanks for being with us. We've got Ursula Myers, who's a rock star, on next week. Another Texan. We're on a Texan run here. That's pretty exciting. So come back next week. And thanks again for being here.
Thank you both.
All right. Don't hang up. We're on the show after the show, but we're done.
Okay. So I have to tell you, idiots, that's all. Here's the deal. So my eyes are so jacked up. I don't know if you know it, man. I got massive eye problems. And so I look like Igor, and one eye goes this way, one eye goes that way. And I was getting ready for the show, and I got soap in my eye. My eye is like, now it's even worse. So I got on this stupid StreamYard, and I hit the image smoother. And so if you look at my face, I look like I'm a wax man, but I couldn't fix it when I realized how bad I look. So all of you that are still listening, wondering about this phony looking guy, I couldn't go back to being the train wreck that I normally am. And so please understand, I didn't put a bunch of cake makeup on or anything else. I just couldn't fix it during the show. I don't think so. I wanted to clean that up after we got off the air because the radio people couldn't hear it anyway. But now I feel better, at least pulling that elephant out of the refrigerator. So anyway, back to you, Adrian.
You are a total maniac. And yeah, that's right. Paul said, I just thought you got younger in Aruba.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was crazy.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, how fun.
That's too fun. Well, Dr. Bob, thank you so much. It's an honor to get to know you. We'd love to have you back again sometime. And everybody, make sure you go to thedrbob.com and check out what Bob's got going on. You won't regret that. So, Bob, all the best to you in 2024. Looking forward to spending more time together. And thank you so much, my friend.
Oh, I predict a beautiful year for all of us and an epic 2024 and big love back. Thank you.